It's the 7th of September 2018, and we just received this wonderful book from our printer in Poland, which is the Ginger Man Letters, the correspondence between Dunleavy, Gaynor Christ, and A.K. Donahue. We're launching it next week on the 11th, which is the anniversary of J.P. Dunleavy's death last year. And I'm here with its editor, Bill Dunn, and we're going to be reading a selection of the letters. Bill will read the headnotes and I will read the texts. And I now hand over to our editor, Bill, who's just arrived from New Jersey.
The letters in this collection come from the archive of J.P. Dunleavy. Three correspondents, Dunleavy, Gaynor Stephen Christ, and Arthur Kenneth Donahue. Christ was the inspiration for the character Sebastian Dangerfield in Dunleavy's first novel, The Ginger Man. Arthur Kenneth Donahue was the inspiration for the character Kenneth O'Keefe. And now we will read some of their letters. The following undated Donahue letter was probably written in the winter of 1948. It may be the first letter he wrote Dunleavy. After returning home, Donahue got a job teaching at his alma mater, Cambridge Range and Latin School in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He also gave elocution lessons on the side. Dunleavy was still at TCD, painting, writing sketches, attending the occasional class. Dunleavy had not begun The Ginger Man, but he remembered a comment from the following letter that he would share with the world in The Ginger Man about the political situation in the Middle East, an opinion delivered by the character O'Keefe.
Dear Guts, you ain't Henry Miller. This is strictly praise to soften you up for a loan. I'll be in Dublin, certainly, the 21st of March. Fix it up with an Octor and the junior dean, will you? I don't want to be thrown out of my can when I get there. Now, since you are coming to France this spring, leave me alone if you can. Make it 3 or 4 quid, and I'll give you the equivalent francs when you get here. Okay, good. I'm counting on you. Christ has my money, but I'd like a little extra to buy coffee and stuff to take back with me. I'm dying for the want of a smell of the old sod. Arrows in my blood veins, cheeks, jowls. I'm thinking of joining the Jews to fight the Arabs, or joining the Arabs to fight the Jews. What the hell? I'm sick of it all. I'm raising a beard. No more women for me. I discovered I'm impotent. Ejaculato praecox. I'm trying to seduce one of my young students. The director has his eye on me, and I may get run out of town any day now. I must say, it's more exciting than chasing cunt. What the hell? Everyone does that. Chase cunt, I mean. I don't expect any success from it. Well, if I don't see you, leave the money and keys here. I can get them, where I can get them. Yours, God bless you, A.K. Donahue.
The earliest typed Christ letter to Dunleavy in the archive is the following. It's dated simply Pearl Harbor Day, which is 7th December. Based on its contents, it's almost certainly written in 1949. Christ's wife Petra is pregnant with her second child. Dunleavy had married Michael Herron's younger sister Valerie in January of 1949. They live in a cottage in Kilcoole, County Wicklow, south of Dublin.
1 Newtown Avenue, Blackrock, County Dublin. Dear Mike, I had intended returning the £3 plus 15 shillings, which I owe you, at the beginning of this month. But due to Petra's illness and hospitalization, my expenses are so heavy that this is impossible. I will take care of it, however, with the first money which I receive. Petra seems to be suffering from chronic morning sickness. Just what has been done to cure this, I don't know. At any rate, she's had a rest, got away from me for a few days, and been on a routine. Discipline's a thing, you know. I'm a firm believer in it. Jesus, I'm a firm believer in that. At any rate, as I say, she's in the Tunda, one of the first, most famous hospitals in the world. 300 years ago, they developed methods of treatment which they're still using today. Yes, sir. I don't know just when she's coming out, nor if, nor how. She's not suffering so much now, however. Just a bit, not much. I've been looking at some good literature, which I'm going to take to Petra. You should see it too. And Valerie. Oh yes, V should have it too. It's about Maria of Padua, one of St. Teresa's little legion. She suffered, but never complained. After much suffering, which gentle Jesus, for some reason known best to himself, expected of her, she died. It's very encouraging for all of us. This evening, I had a long conversation with Mariana, who was sitting on her pot. She told me not to be such a stupid bastard and to get on with my legal studies. Forget all the Barclayan crap, she said, and concentrate more on tort. Tort's the thing, according to Mariana, and much more useful than anything, even Maria of Padua. People are always torting one another, and thereby come quids into my purse. That is, if I'm smart. Otherwise there will be nothing for me to fall back on, save Maria and Bishop B. She's very materialistic, I think. Oh ho, well, it's the age. Come by any time you wish. I'm usually here chasing Mariana about with a roll of lavatory paper. Why do we always use these euphemisms? Surely a lavatory is a place in which to wash oneself. A lavatory paper would be what one used after one had washed oneself. I go now, but shall hope soon to see you both. Affectionately, G.S.C.
Following an enjoyable weekend getaway to the wilds of New Jersey and then the beach at Sag Harbor, Chris headed to upstate New York, where his luck changed.
Woodstock, New York, 25th January, 1953. My dear Mike, my God, this has been an unbelievable nightmare. I came up here on Wednesday evening, not getting away from the George Washington Bridge until about 7 p.m. John was in the house, dead drunk. He had the place barricaded so that no one could get in. Louise was staying with his friend, Patty McGovern, but Patty was going to have a house full of people arriving on Friday, so Louise and I could remain here only one night. Thereafter, we'd have to move back here, and Louise wanted John out and out for good when she returned. Thus, I've been sent over here on Thursday night to talk to John. I had to break in and then get him out of a drunken sleep in order to hold this conversation. For fully 10 minutes, he thought I was somebody else. But after a tumbler of whiskey, mixed with grapefruit juice, he collected his wits and listened to Louise's various ultimata. I left about 3 a.m. and went to a bar to call Louise. There I met a lesbian who offered to drive me to McGovern's. We got lost, and in an effort to turn the car around, stalled in a snowdrift. I hitched up here, by the way, in a howling blizzard. I took over the wheel to get us both out and retained it after we'd been towed by a lorry. I drove up the road, turned around and headed back to the village. A car approached. I instinctively went to the left-hand side of the road and smashed into it head on. My companion was sent to the hospital with an injured knee, and I have injured both my knees as well and can barely walk at all. One of them is as big as a football. No one in the other car was injured, but both cars were cracked up more than somewhat. The troopers took me before a justice of the peace, and I stood my trial in the cellar at 4 a.m. He was attired in his pajamas. I was fined $30 for reckless driving and $10 for possessing no license. These were the minimum fines he could impose. Since I hadn't the money with me to meet the fines, I was taken to Kingstown jail, thence to hospital for examination of my injuries and anti-tetanus shots. I had been in jail about 8 hours when Louise came to fish me out. That's another $140. I will have to do without. This banjaxes me a bit more. I admit that I lack certain discretion, but by God, I have absolutely no luck whatsoever. I must get out of here before I wind up in an asylum for the insane. What I'm principally frightened of is being used by the insurance company of the man whose car I struck. Pray God I may escape this bloody place before further disaster overtakes me. I am leaving here if I'm able on Tuesday and will ring you when I return. The police have my New York address, and I'm going to finish vacating and then hide out until I can escape. I've already moved a bit of my stuff. I'm sorry that I haven't been in touch with you before, but you can see why I haven't. I really can't recommend you to come up here. John is in a sort of psychic coma, and Louise, who fell down a trapdoor into a cellar, is barely able to walk. I can scarcely wobble about, and I'm living in dread that they will come for me. There is an atmosphere of real horror here, but I can do nothing to escape it because of my injuries. Last night, Louise and I got drunk. Today, we are both in bed and there's nothing in the house to eat or drink. I'll ring on Tuesday, probably in the evening. I shan't be able to hitch back and will come on bus or train. Hope all is going well with the book. My best regards to Brother Tom and your father and mother. May the blessed Oliver Plunkett intercede for us all. G.S.C.
After months of silence, Dunleavy renews contact with Christ and then Donahue. He's unburdening himself. This letter carries no salutation, but is written to Christ.
40A Brighton Road, Fulham, London SW6, July 1955. I don't know if they sell it in the bookshops. I should suppose so, i.e. English bookshop on the left bank, which some American runs. English bookshop, 42 Rue de Seine, or Libraire Mistral, 37 Rue de la Boucherie. Someone might be reading it in a literary cafe. Le Tournant, 1 Rue de Tournant. And failing all this, Olympia Press, 8 Rue de Nestlé, Paris 6. But the price is a bit fantastic. I don't see how anyone will buy it at 1,500 francs or 30 shillings. Although I've heard from them, and they're giving me £150 when present printing is exhausted, which may be coming of next Christ. But Pam should be warned that Irish customs will look at any book, unless you can put a Bible cover over it, or better, a missal cover, they could easily confiscate it. Randall told me they looked through 2 books he was carrying and intended taking one away from him, but due to the fact he was only spending the day, they let him keep it. Will she be able to stop off in London on my way back? Would very much like to see her. The gasworks here is killing me. So is the baker across the street. Every night smoke blows out of his chimney into my lungs. God, let me get out of the smoke. I can't stand it anymore. Olympia Press says that obviously I'm a very difficult person, easily given to ignoring the problems of others and also given to violent outbursts of self-pity. This in reply to a letter of mine forbidding them to send this edition to England, with it included among a list which for your enjoyment is as follows: The Enormous Red Rape, School for Sin, Tender Was My Flesh, The Whip Angels, My Life and Loves, Frank Harris, Chariot of Flesh. The one last I must admit being proud to have listed with Ginger Man. The Sexual Life of Robinson Crusoe. Also one more title, White Thighs. An author, I suppose, is a frustrated bank clerk who wants to be respectable. But of course, this whole business is unfortunately because the book deserves something more than this. Or does it? I hate the Irish. God, how I hate them. 3/4, and the British only Americans for me. I hope to make the Ginger Man into a libretto for Duffy to write music. You can play your comb and paper instruments that you used at Black Rock. Where will it all end? Tibet? Max still wears his plastic collar. Dagmar has gone to Ibiza. We leave for Spain the end of October, where I can make up my mind. Malaga or Ibiza. I can't bear it here, bear the smoke any longer. But I don't want to do that. I think I'll move to Bradford or Leeds, where I'll really feel at home. Just got a letter from AK, who says that his address, till August, is Camp Drykey, Ellsworth Falls, Maine. He's chief counsellor there and will come to Europe. In London, here I sit in the park, and as it says in The Ginger Man, all sin starts in the park, as marriage begins in the dark and ends with the lights on. Or voices, sighs, and laughs and lies, and lips and teeth and whites of eyes. A sentence out of the book. By God, by God, by God. My last short story is called Meet My Maker. I don't think I can last much longer, but V and with P and K send love to you all and special regards to Mariana. Guts. So there is a sample. Bill, what do you think?
That's just 4 from 220 letters in the collection. And what strikes me, here are the real people that inspired the fictional characters of the Ginger Man, a book that Brendan Behan, he was the first to read after Don Levy. Behan read the book in manuscript and said, this book will go around the world and beat the bejesus out of the Bible. He did get the first half right. It's been translated into 24 languages. Sales have topped 45 million. So here we have the real people who inspired the characters speaking for themselves. And the truth of what is contained in the letters is like Don Levy fiction. The letters range from sincere to explosive to reflective to bombastic and brawling. And the voices, they write in 3 distinct voices. So reading it, one gets a deeper understanding not only of the 3 people involved, but the Ginger Man, the book itself. So
enjoy viewing and listening, and we hope this book will have as long a life as the one that gave rise to it, The Ginger Man.